Hello everybody, wee Paddy from across the shop, and I'm doing probably one of the most requested videos I get, although I'll never understand why because I'm not that good at it, but I get an awful lot of requests for sharpening videos. So I'm going to do a full sharpening video again today using my proper stones. This is the Imanishi Latte 400 and the 1K 6K combo that I won in Jeff Jewell's competition. This is the 1K 6K here, which I will go on to. I'll set it over there out of the way, and I'll just lean you over here in the basin here. Can you see that? I'm not very good at doing this backwards. That is the 400, the Latte 400. It's in having a soak. It needs a soak for about 20 minutes, half an hour before start. It's only been in about 10 minutes, so I just thought I'd do this pre-start. This morning I'm going to sharpen this CH knife. This is the CH3504 in D2. I had a lot of flat back furniture during the week there. I used this to cut it all up. All I've done is clean the edge off from the gunk and the goo. It's not particularly blunt, you know, it wasn't that much cardboard, but I'll take the edge off her before we start, and then I'll bring her back, hopefully to razor sharp. And just again, this is just to show that it is simple. You just have to practice, you know what I mean? That's all it is. And you don't have to have any great stones. Just practice on any stone. Get a cheap stone and practice on it. Cheap knives, just practice away until you get used. And it only is, I think the hardest part of sharpening is just keeping an angle, relatively speaking, at the same angle to your sharpening. We don't do it perfectly, and I do it less perfectly than most, but that's all you're trying to do, is keep the angle as good as you can. So, I'll get back to you once we're starting. Well, hello there, it's ready to go now. It's been soaking now for about 25 minutes, and you know what my patience is like, I don't have it. So that'll do her. I'm going to get her up there and get her on. She was fizzing rightly to start with, so she's calmed down now. And we'll get her going. So, I've been left to my own devices this morning. My wife's away out to her sister's, so that means I can get these done without sarcastic comments. But just before we start, just a wee thing that's happening today. It's the 75th anniversary of the D-Day landings, and lest we forget and all that, being an ex-serviceman, I find these occasions, at the minute I find it quite sad, because this is, you know, probably the last big anniversary there's going to be anybody alive who fought in the Second World War. And, you know, we've lost everybody from the first. So I would just like to bow my head and nod to those men who, from the whole of the Allied forces, and it was a whole of the Allied forces achievement to land so many people in a foreign soil, which was just remarkable. From, I don't know, there was just so many people, maybe not just the people who fought at the front, but those who supplied them with ammunition and food. So I just like to think of them today, and if you're like that, maybe you're like me, just give them a nod today, and a wee prayer for their families. So, there we go, that's it, done. Now, sharpening. CH 350, gosh, I'm so blind, 3504 in D2, that's what I got the wrong glasses on. Now, in D2 steel. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, I'm just going to find whichever angle this is on. I've never done this on a stone, so I've no idea what the angle is, so I'll just have a wee look at it and keep this stone, it sucks up the juice of the stone, keep her wet, and all I'm going to do is just find that angle. And this is a lovely stone. You actually feel the stone. Well, I do. I think I can feel the stone cutting. It's again, I just put my fingers at the edge there just to keep it. I try to keep it at that same angle and not sort of move it. And I do a few like that, and then I'll turn it over and I'll have a wee look that, just to see that the angle is okay, that I'm hitting the full, and you just see it because it's shiny. Do you know what I mean? You can put a black marker on it, which I really should do, but in real life I don't, so I'm just doing it the way I normally do it. Do you know what I mean? So I'm sorry, what am I doing? I meant to take the edge off this. So let me just show you what that edge is like after I run it through there. I think you can safely say that's not sharp. So I'll start again now. Find that edge. I know Jeff holds his right down at the end. I don't feel comfortable doing that, and that's the joy of it. We'll all do it different. Jeff uses his finger down here when he's doing it to feel when the edge of the knife is getting on the surface. I use two fingers to keep that angle sort of there. And the bottom one here I just have on the blade like that, so that I know when I'm touching that there, when my finger's touching, it's time to lift up and get the tip. That's just my way. You'll find yours over time. So what I'm going to do now again is just make sure I've got this at the angle, because if you don't get that angle right, if you don't get that angle right at the start, you'll never get your approx properly. So, and then all I'm going to be doing then, as I'm doing this, I'm waiting for the burr to transfer over to this side, and I'll feel the burr once it's got there. D2 on this stone, I'm not sure, I've not really done it, so I'm going to give it a go now. And I'm not going to rush today. This is going to take as long as it takes. And you'll see at the end there, you've got to tilt your hand up to get down to the edge of that blade. You can see the stone is already moving, removing metal. Why was I looking on that side? I don't know. So that looks nice, and do you know that's actually starting to come over? Do I prefer this over diamonds? There's another question I get. Which would I rather do? If I'm honest, I get more pleasure out of an edge I get of the proper stones than I do diamonds somehow. Look, I don't know, my thinking process is different. Diamonds somehow to me is nearly a bit like cheating. You get there too fast, and there's something about just doing this it's nearly primal. This is the way people sharpen. It was once, all right, these are fancy stones, but you know, people through millennia have sharpened on a stone to get their cutting tools sharp. So this sort of feels like that. This sort of feels like that step back into time where everybody used a stone to sharpen. And it was a man's job to sharpen, you know, as such. So, not that I'm claiming that. That's a terrible thing to say in this day and age. And there's so many women. Just that bottom wee bit there. I'm just gonna. But that's that stone. Like that's D2. That 400 Imanishi stone really does cut quite well. That's nearly got right. Whether it's D2 or one of these more hardened steels, you don't want a huge burr. All I want is to feel that. Now, there you go. You'll not know this, right? But I mean, can you hear? That's right up to the end, and that only took a few minutes, and that was D2. So don't let people tell you these things are hard to do. Find out yourself that it's not. Do you know what I mean? D2, S30V, S35VN, They're all steels. These mid-range, high-grade steels are not hard to sharpen. You just have to learn how to sharpen, because once you do it, that's one side done now already. It's done already. So I mean, I'll change over to the other side now, and I'll change my stone round. And what I do that just because I want to keep the stone flat. I don't want to do it. Luckily, I mean, and it is luckily for me, a lot of the times the tip and the back end is where I fall short, and I'll miss the bits on there. But that was right the way through it, and I got down to the tip, which is unusual because you don't have to play with the tip. But take it while it's going. Again, I want this side, you're just laying it down and bringing it up till you feel it on there, until you nearly feel it cutting. And then what you're going to do is exactly the same, is try and keep that angle. And you're trying to remove that burr that you put onto that side. Now, I always find this side harder to do because I'm not naturally left-handed, and this always feels like the cack-handed version. And that's where I lift up here sometimes, so sometimes it's just as easy for me to keep that angle. I just sort of, you can actually hear where that burr was scraping across there. So, good heavens, that is. Oh, I'm feeling wrong side. Do you know, I was looking up the CH knife on the charts, and it was good D2, but it just shows you, like, if you don't let your knives go completely blunt, it doesn't take that long to bring them back. Like, you've seen me dull that completely, and I've been using this with this flat back furniture this week, and there was so much cardboard, and I had so much fun taking it down and cutting it up into small pieces, which my wife thought was a complete waste of my effort. I should have been cutting it in big pieces and just finished the job. But she doesn't realise the pleasure one gets at cutting cardboard. So, let's have a wee feel. And I'm just using my nails till you... Right. And when I'm moving my finger across here, I'm not putting any more pressure on it other than the weight of my finger being here, just because I'm missing that wee bit. It hasn't got the burr formed across it, so I just want to, there we go. Now, that's good. So now what I'm going to do is try just strokes to take the burr away. Now, the one thing I always say is, for me, before I move on to the next stones, which basically are only honing stones, this is the edge. This edge now, once I get it, goes right through the rest of the sharpening. This is the important one. You must get this cutting sharp before you move on to the next stone. Must be. So, to me, I'll just spend that extra bit of time to get that edge on my blade all the way down to the tip. Now, let's see, I'm sure I'm out of focus a lot of times, folks, but I'm sorry, it's I'm just getting better. I think I've got a better angle now. Now, Let's see, that was a paper we used before, so I'm just using exactly the same paper. Let's see how it is. That's pretty good, isn't it? So, there we go. That's the first part of the job done. So, what I'll do now is I'll take this off and I'll set this at the back here. And the stones, you're not going to see this, I'm off camera. I've a little scarring pad here, and all I'm doing is giving the stone a quick scar to get most of the metal off it before she dries. It's not perfectly clean, but it'll keep it cleaner. So I'll put it up the back here and I'll leave it by the window here until later on today, and then I shall, hopefully it'll be air dried before I put it back in the box and away in the drawer. So we're now going to go, there's two sides here. So you have the 6000 and the 1000. The 1000 the darker, and not usually the biggest one because that's still cutting metal as such rather than just honing, which the 6000 is. Right, let's get this up. There we go. Now, these stones, you can use them as just a wet and dry stone. You just throw it down and put water on it. You don't need to soak them. Although you can do apparently for a little bit, but you see that way it's not sucking it in. The way the other one sucks the water into it, you'll find that's lying on top. Now, it will eventually go into it, but just keep it moist now. That's all you're going to be doing, is keeping it moist. And I'm still looking for that little burr with 1000. Even with 1000 on D2, the little burr, just a tiny, all you want to do is for it to turn over and no more. You're not trying to get this big lump. My descriptive parts are brilliant, aren't they? How does anybody follow what Paddy does? Now, again, there you go. Straight away you can feel this is like it's gliding up here. Feels like it's gliding. Lovely feeling. And even when I finish this stone, I'll double check that I've got the nice edge that I've kept, because I am by no means, I constantly get the angles wrong. I don't hold it as good as somebody like Jeff, who does this basically on such a regular basis, and I don't expect to be his standard anytime soon. I don't expect to be his standard anytime, because I use my diamonds as well. But to be honest with you, I'm enjoying these an awful lot, and they're making me think that I want to do more of it. And all I'm just looking is that there's a scratch pattern. When you're doing it, you'll see a scratch pattern, and it's quite, when you're using that stone, it leaves you quite a heavy scratch pattern. With this one, it's bringing it down, it's taking away that roughness, except down here I can see the shine coming, but down here it's not. So that's how I know where I want to go. And I don't know where, I honestly don't know whether it's me just does this, or it's maybe Jeff if he's there. So it's the tip and the base are the bits that sometimes you don't just get. The middle tends to be a nice even sharpness. The tips that you have to, and especially this bit right up near the choil. And I can see the difference there. And as soon as you start to see the difference, you'll know you're getting there. So, and before I get up, I move it up like that there to my tip, and then I know I'm at that right angle if I want to give that tip that extra little bit, just to level up my, see, not only do you want the sharp knife, I want the bevel. Now again, I can't see what you can see there. I want that bevel to be the same all the way up to the end. So that's pretty good to me. I can see I need a wee bit of work here still, but it's getting close, you know, it really is. I can feel it getting close. I haven't felt for the burr because I want to get that bevel completely perfect now, because after I go from this stone, really the bevel needs to be set, because all I'm going to do is hone it. And that is definitely looking there now. So now I can check and see if I got a little burr. Wouldn't you know it? Everywhere but the wee bottom bit. And I'm just putting the tiniest wee bit of pressure now, because it definitely seems to be a wee bit off. Oh, there you go. Now, there you go. I'm sure you can't hear it, but it's so clear on this side that I can hear that the bevel is now on this side. So I can happily change over now. I think the angle is nice. I've got a nice sharp. Now, and then all I'm going to do is exactly the same again. You know, each stone, it doesn't change. You just do each stone exactly the same. Oh. And again, I feel awkward at this angle. Now, the more I do it, I know I'll get better at it. And that's just the way. I'm better now than when I started. When I started, I used to take gouges out doing this side because I could never keep the angle straight. And that's why when you're starting out, use nice cheap knives and don't buy expensive stones. I think Jeff had told me once, now he'll probably correct me, but you know, if you're just starting, the king stones that you would see on Amazon, they're all right stones. They're not too expensive, but just buy what you can afford. That's as simple. Buy what you can afford. Maybe those that are better sharpeners than me, who do tend to watch, sometimes they'll watch this, and would you put in some stones for beginners that you would recommend that they use to get started? Again, it's just like the other side. Now I really want to make sure that I've got a good angle on this side now. I think the simple fact is there's a bit of a smile. This choil maybe needs to be extended a fraction of an inch, because I'm getting a bit of a smile at the back here. Sorry, sometimes it's hard. I do want to concentrate. I want to get this so that you can see that it doesn't take a genius to do something like this. If wee Paddy can do it, everybody can do it. And you can, you really genuinely can. And it's fun. And when you get that first, because it takes you ages before you get a really, well, I'm saying it took me a while before I got a really good edge. Now, I've got my burr all the way down there, all the way down, maybe just that last wee corner, just where I've got a bit of a smile there. It's not, no, I'm not going to fix it today. I'll get it in the next sharpening. I'll just maybe extend the sharpen the stone with a little diamond file. Now, I'm looking at my edges. Am I happy with my edges? Do you know what I mean? Just so that they're the bevels even. That one's a wee bit smaller. Do I want to? Yes, I'll just do it while I'm here. The edge just... See, that's just getting on my nerves a bit. I mean, I do want my knife to look good, although nobody will see my knives. Only me mostly, you know, unless I put them on a, you know, an Instagram page with a close-up, which I very rarely do. This is just personal pride. I think that you want your knife to look nice. It doesn't. I'm not a stickler. You see, working blades, I'm not that worried. I just get them sharp and that's it. But when I'm doing it on here, I want them nice. And all I'm doing now is getting rid of as much as I can of that little burr that had formed on both sides with that sharpening side. So I would expect this to be as sharp or more sharp than the first stone. Because a lot of the times if you're going to go out and work, you don't need to go to the 6,000. You know, I've no needs a lot of the times to go to 6,000. 1,000 will do absolutely fine. It's funny, I don't know whether you can see, like there's that wee paper towel, but you know, even at 1,000 degrees, it's still taking metal off. So let's just see what that looks like. I mean, there's a nice bit of luster on that. They're both pretty, you know, it's pretty good. That's good enough for me. Now, the important bit is never mind what it looks like. It's does it cut? Because that's what it is. It's a knife and it doesn't have to look nice. But to me, that's quite nice. So, I think you'll agree that's pretty good all the way. Oh, that's pretty good. I'm going to give it another couple of little strokes because that is my want. Oh, I'm starting to get overlaid with water here. Get some of that muck off there. And it does surprise me how much that wee stone cuts. So, get some more water on it. Always keep the water on it. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to and as you go down, let the strokes get lighter. I hope you can hear that. There's just no pressure. I'm just letting the strokes stay nice and light so I can get that apex nice and even, nice and sharp all the way down. And that's why when I'm cutting the paper, I start at the top and I want to go all the way down. Now, I'll have another wee slice. Oh, paper's gone. Another wee slice of the paper. And I hope you're seeing this. Lovely. Lovely and sharp. That's nice. That's nice. So now I'm going to turn this over. I'll just dry this bit off of it. And a nice wee bit of fresh paper. Now, I hope this isn't too long, folks. If it is, you can let me know and I'll edit out the future ones. But so many people have asked to see the whole thing. And you know, I know we all don't want to, but this is done morely for people who are coming around who don't know how to sharpen at all. So even an idiot like me looks as if I know what I'm doing. So that's who I'm doing it for, if you know what I mean. It's not for those of you who are really good at it. And well, by all means, give me advice. I'm always wanting advice. Advice is brilliant. Knowledge is power. Isn't that what they say? Knowledge is power. But this isn't for me to be criticised. This is more, if you see me doing something that's not advantageous to somebody who's just learning, then by all means, please chip in. All means, please chip in. So, this is going to give me a nice polished edge, I hope. Now, let's see. Boy, it's getting warm now. Now, this is the 6,000 stone. I'll give this a wee. I think it maybe got a bit contaminated when it was laying there. I see the wee bits of black from another stone. That's not what we want. So, give that a wee wipe off. Take that off there. And just give this a wee clean here. Now, get some more water on it, just drying out. Now, see, 6,000 still lifts metal, doesn't it? Oh, aye. I really don't go chasing a burr on this one, to be honest with you. You know, I'll maybe do 5 strokes or something on each side and then have a wee look. And I'm really just trying to build up a bit of a sheen on her. Sound like I'm dressing a puppy for a show. You can definitely see the scratch coming down now on that. Has anybody actually started that's just starting sharpening, that's watching this video? If you are, let me know. And you know, if you want to, even on Instagram, if you PM me, if you've got any questions at any time, right in the middle of sharpening or any time at all, just ask me and I'll do my very best. And if I can't help you, I'll put you in the way of somebody who can. But anybody who's just about, do you want to know the best bit of advice that I can give you? I love you being on my channel and I love to help you get started, but when it comes to sharpening, I am a newbie. I am not somebody who's, I can get a sharp edge and I can get it shiny sometimes. But I'm sorry, there's only one person I recommend now because I totally trust him. He has never let me down. He is such a bonus to this community because of his patience and his just understanding of how to get a sharp edge. And that's Jeff Jewell. I do it every time and I'll mention him till the cows come home. I don't have any fear. The man should have 100,000 subs because he is just an awful nice man. Every question I've ever asked him, he has answered. Do you know, funny enough, I'm doing this the wrong way. Jeff had told me to strop. There you are. Now you see, that's me. That's me my whole life. I never listened. I'm just going to take this off and then I'm going to try the stropping method. The last time I'd done this, I was cutting into it, but to be honest I didn't cut it once there, which is not like me. Sometimes on a softer stone, the higher the grit of these stones go, the softer they get, so it's easier to cause damage. So I'm going to try doing the stropping method now. So let's start there and do that. So I'm starting there on my bevel, letting it drop and coming up. Starting there on my bevel, letting it drop and coming up. There. And again, you're just trying to keep that angle the same. This is something I'm going to have to practice doing it this way, because it feels a bit unusual, although the luster seems to be coming on the knife. I can see a nice shine coming, and I mean, I'll get faster at it. I'm just doing this slowly because I've never done this before, and that is the whole thing about when you're starting, is just do it slowly. What's that like? Do you know, it looks alright. Now folks, I'm going to just give it a couple of wee swipes the normal way now. And we'll see what that looks like and what it cuts like. Now let's just I don't want to pause this video at all now, because I don't want people to think I've done something off. It's not terrible, but I don't want people, I want the you know, those who are just around to see that I haven't stopped the video. There's nothing, this is live in front of you. If this is crap, it's crap, I have to do it again. So let's just see. Now, did you see that? That back end of her tried to, oh, I maybe got just a little bit of a burr there. Let's just do a wee bit more. Sorry, I was going to stop there and I'm not going to. I always do. But today I said I was going to do it until I got it right. I think when I was doing that there, and it's like stropping, you can blunt your knife when you're stropping. If you don't keep that angle, if you go over the edge of your angle, you'll just roll it ever so slightly. But it just shows you that had gone there with a 6,000 stone. But I was trying something new, which I will do again, because it, you know, it was starting to feel a bit better. Let's just see if I can just take this out, because if you can't take this out, I have to go back a stone, because this stone wouldn't be hard enough to reprofile if you like. So let us just see how we're doing there. Can you see me all right here? So that it's almost. I honestly believe that's, yeah, I think that's just a wee bit of a, watch now. Now, this is the last bit you have to do, and I'm going to lift you up here. Not lift you up, I'm going to move you up a wee bit so you can see my oil bake. I'm just going around the corner here to get my strop. And here's the strop. This is the strop that Jeff had sent me. So this is always the last thing you do And this is always the way I keep my knife sharp is with a strop. So I'm just going to dry this off because you don't want your strop getting wet. This is me here now. So this is the last bit in sharpening. It's quite a nice edge, Stephen. You know, I'm not as bad as I think I am sometimes. Sharpening your knife, it's amazing what this last wee bit will do. You've seen that it was a wee bit jagged there. Right. The strop is the same as what, this is the way I strop. So you're coming down on that angle and there. Now, everybody does their stropping different. So don't worry if you do yours from corner to corner, corner to corner, or if you come up this way and that way and then do your ends. Whatever way you strop, you just keep doing if it's working. If it's not working, try another way. This way is lovely to get the tip. Sometimes we'll leave that tip out and again, this is just me copying Jeff Jewell. This is not anything I'm making up myself. This strop is great. I have another strop that sits down and it's got a finer, it's not a liquid, like a cream, and it's called Smurf Poo. And I buy it in the cream version, I rub it into a strop, and that's what I'll use at night after I've been, you know, my knives are sharp, but I've been using them a bit. I'll get that out and I'll sit for 10 minutes and I'll maybe do 2 or 3 knives in it. But hopefully this will just take, it's usually about 10 on each side. That's all you need. And if it's, and it just gets the last of that burr. And then at the end, I just get up, lift it up a wee bit higher, just to try and get that burr off. Now, let's see. Paper, seeing paper. Now, did you see that? I hope you did, because that's what stropping does. It just gives you, oh, there's a lot of that paper's a bit wet now. But that's what the stropping does. It'll give you, look, I'm right up that edge. So, it is bringing that edge on. There is a wee thing there. Oh, there it is. It's come off maybe. There was just that little bit on that edge. So, I'll concentrate my stropping there. See if I can take that off. Now, is this knife going to be okay to do work? This knife was okay to do work from the first stone. I could have taken it 400. If I was just going to cut cardboard boxes up or things like that, that would have done me for that. You know, it would have done me. This, when you get up to 6,000, it's more for glamour pussy. You know, it's more, let's see how shiny your blade is, but it doesn't make the knife that much sharper. It does make it sharper, but for an average everyday working Joe, not that much difference. I find, I'm probably wrong, but sure, been wrong before. So, there you go. That is a lovely edge. Ooh. I'm making such a horny. It is really sharp, trust me. Look, it is absolutely razor sharp. I have no problems. So, there you go. Start to finish. I don't know how long that took. What? Oh, 43 minutes. Oh dear, I'm away. Okay, I think it's a nice edge. I hope you do. What I'll do is, if you're interested at all, I have an Instagram channel. I'll put it on my Instagram and you can see I'll do a close-up of the edge. I don't know how to do it in these blooming things. There's the camera. So, I think it's a nice edge. It looks pretty good and pretty reflective to me. Okay, enjoy. I'm away. My knife sharpened and ready for another day's work. Take care, I'll see you soon. And remember today, a wee thought for those on D-Day. Take care, all the very best. Paddy's away for a cup of tea. Bye-bye.